to make it. Okay, and I'll just admit people as they come in because we might have some more people trickling in. So we're here for the rental lottery for Serenity Apartments in Brewster. And today we have Jill and Donna from the town of Brewster. We have Stuart and Matthew from the development company. We have Leland, who's here as a property manager. And then we have Gail Kelleher, who runs all of our lotteries at Housing Assistance Corporation. And Gail is going to walk us through the application process, the eligibility requirements, a little bit of the timeline. And there's going to be a lot of information there, but feel free to ask questions at the end. If they pop up in your head, feel free to put them in the chat box and we will circle back to them at the end. Okay, so this is for Jill and Donna.
So welcome this evening. I'm so happy to have you here. I am Jill Scalisi, the Brewster Housing Coordinator, and also on the call from the town of Brewster is Donna Kalanick, the Assistant Town Administrator. And we are very happy to be here and to share about this affordable housing opportunity in Brewster. We understand the need for over 55 plus housing. And every week I receive calls from seniors looking for rental housing options here on the Lower Cape. Over the past 2 years, Brewster has had a very positive experience working with Elevation Financial Group on the redevelopment of a vacant property, the former Wingate Skilled Rehabilitation and Assisted Living Facility, or perhaps you may know it as EPIC or Brewster Manor, into Serenity Apartments at Brewster. It's been amazing to watch the transformation. Elevation Financial Group first met with the town of Brewster and with their housing partnership. And in learning more about the need for affordable housing here, they agreed to designate 20% of all units at Serenity Brewster as affordable. Serenity of Brewster received a zoning use variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals and approvals from the Planning Board. And we also want to thank everyone who's worked on this, as well as the Massachusetts Department of Housing and Community Development for their guidance throughout the process to create these affordable units, and to Housing Assistance Corporation for overseeing the application and lottery. Serenity Apartments at Brewster have a great location here, right next to the Cape Cod Rail Trail, close to the Mid-Cape Highway. And also there'll be a Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority bus stop starting here in the fall. They are close to beautiful beaches and shops in Brewster and a very welcoming community here. So I want to just thank you for coming, for your interest in Serenity Apartments at Brewster, and thank everyone, all the folks who have helped to make this a possibility and for us to be here this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. Now we'll hear from Stuart.
Welcome to everybody tonight. My name is Stuart Heaton. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Elevation Financial Group. We are the sponsor and developer of the Serenity Apartments at Brewster. And we just want to welcome you to our community. For those of you who become tenants with our community, we are very excited to think about how you will see the community, how you will grow into a sort of internal neighborhood in the community, surrounded by woods, beauty, the bike trail. This was a gem for us to find. We're in 10 states right now. We cater primarily to plus 55 senior communities. It's our mission, and we care very deeply about affordable housing for seniors. We really focus on this as almost entirely our stock and our inventory. This was our first move into the state of Massachusetts. We fell in love with this property, or the potential of it. I think the first time we looked at it, it wasn't all that beautiful, but its potential was there to turn it into something that would be special. And so we just wanted to welcome you from the corporate side of this. Leland will talk to you a little bit later. He's the manager of this property and he knows it intimately, and he will be the face that you see every day if you come on board and become one of the community neighbors inside the property. But we're just welcoming you. We're thankful that you have an interest in this. We're thankful that we could arrange with the town of Brewster and the state of Massachusetts to set aside 20% of these units for affordable housing. And that's in perpetuity. They will always be 20% set aside for affordable housing. So we welcome you to our community. It will be opening this summer. And we just wanted to spend a few minutes and let you hear all about it from both the developer side and from the on-site property management side. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. We now have Leland.
Hello, I'm Leland Powell, the on-site property manager for Serenity at Brewster. We're a senior community, as everyone said, for 55 and up. I guess I would say we pride ourselves on taking care of the needs of our seniors. And forgive me, guys, nervous with this, but no. So we aim to foster an environment of kindness and understanding with dealing with our seniors. If you move here at Serenity at Brewster, what you'll get is monthly management meetings. Any notifications we give to our seniors, we hand deliver. We don't just post things on the bulletin board in hopes that everyone sees it, because there are some residents who don't leave their homes for days at a time. We host monthly potlucks here. We also are involved with government programs such as TAP, nonprofit programs to host certain events and functions for our residents, and also safety functions that local fire department, police department come out and talk about senior safety. We're working on a monthly newsletter to incorporate, a sense of community, whereas everyone feels like their voice is heard and they're up on what it is that we're doing in our community from week to week, month to month. Our residents can expect birthday cards on their special day, as well as different functions, pretty much just, I'd say weekly, there'd be something for residents to partake in, even if it's not something that management is directly involved in themselves, that we set up for them on their behalf. It's just, will always be something to get involved in. Even though we don't have a designated resident services coordinator on site, I've worked side by side long enough with resident service coordinators that I feel comfortable partially taking on that role to ensure our seniors that their needs are tended to and that they are happy to be a resident of Serenity at Brewster. As far as our amenities go, we have multiple community rooms that are all cable equipped with flat screen TVs for movie nights and such. We have natural gas fireplaces in the community rooms as well. A community kitchen, whereas Jill spoke on the Cape Cod rail track that runs through Nickerson State Park. We're also walking distance from Fisherman's Landing. We have an outdoor gazebo, outdoor patio and courtyard. Some units have patios. We have on-site laundry facilities. Heat, AC, gas, electric, water, sewer, trash are all included. Many of our new units will come with PTAC dual system to control your heat and AC. So that's a huge plus, as well as granite countertops in the apartment units. We have stainless appliances here. Kitchens come equipped with range stoves, refrigerators, and microwaves. We have wood style flooring and carpets, closets and shelving. And I assure you, I won't be this odd when you meet me. And resident experience wise, you enjoy an environment, as I say, where your needs are met, where you have a caring management and maintenance team. We won't turn you away. We're here to help. We have major shopping centers within a half an hour or so of the community, near in Hyannis and other smaller shopping centers nearby in Orleans. We have a community of people here who look after one another, and it's beautiful surrounding scenic atmosphere with many things to do here on the Cape, especially summertime, which we're approaching. Aside from that, I'd say we'd love to get your applications in. We'd love to have you guys join our community. I'm pretty sure you'd be happy here. It's I don't think you can beat this location or everything else that we have to offer. So please come on in. We're happy to embrace you. I think that's it. Thanks, guys. Unless there's any questions.
Thanks, Leland.
Thank you.
So we're going to shift right into the application process with Gail, and then I'm sure people have some questions about the property towards the end.
I was there the other day. These pictures that were on the screen, that's what it really looks like.
Yes.
Sometimes you think, oh, they just got all dressed up for the picture, but it really looked like that. And they didn't know I was coming. So,
Right. You did bump up.
so I am
Everyone.
Gail Kelleher from Housing Assistance Corporation. Our office is in Hyannis. We do a lot of affordable housing lotteries over the past many, many years. So I want to make sure that everybody understands the process. Sometimes when you look at the application or you go online and it seems like there's a lot of paperwork and a lot of stuff that you need. And it really, it's not that bad. There's a couple different ways that you can do the application. You can do it online. You can upload your documents, fill it out completely online. You could also pick up an application. I know Leland's had quite a few people in, and Jill and Donna at Town Hall, also Brewster Ladies Library, and we're continually replenishing the paper applications. There's two parts that you'll find there. One is a information packet, and the other one is the actual lottery application. So we only need the lottery application back, and you might want to keep the information packet for reference in the future. Probably a lot of you have already obtained an application. So you can go online, you can download it and print it, fill it out, pick it up. We'll mail it to you. There's plenty of ways. And I'm getting phone calls when people feel a little bit panicked because they didn't get it or it's not fast, but the deadline is July 1st. So between now and July 1st, we will make sure that you have the application and we can help you fill it out in anything that you need. Basically, once you have the application, if you would read through it thoroughly before you start to work on it, because there are a lot of little bits and pieces that we want you to know. And then once you fill the application out and gather your documents, basically what you need is 1 year tax return, your most recent tax return, and your 3 months of bank statements and any other income or asset documents so that we can determine what your actual income is. It's important. So we look at it in two ways in terms of the lottery, and then the Serenity will look at it at a different way as well. But we want to make sure that you are under the income limits in order to be eligible for affordable. And at the same time, we want to make sure that you have enough income to be able to afford the apartment. So once we have your application in July 1st, a lot of people wait till the last minute. And I would hope that you would try not to wait till the last minute, because that way we have a chance to get back to you and say, hey, we didn't get your tax return, or something got jammed in the fax, or you're missing a document. If we don't have time to get back to you, then you might not be eligible for the lottery. So the sooner the better. And we are reviewing them on a rolling basis as they come in as best we can. And we have a chance up until July 1st to say, hey, we need one more thing, or what's this about? There's a lot of times it's hard for us to understand the actual financial situation. So we just might have questions. So once we have them, we review all of the applications and start to set up a database. We will let you know when the lottery will be. It will be within 30 days of the lottery deadline, depending how many applications we have and how many applications we have to go through. That's what affects our time. And then at the end, we'll have the lottery drawing will be by Zoom. And what we'll do is we just literally pull the numbers out of a container. It's very transparent. It's very much luck of the draw. There aren't any, it's just everybody's gets the same number. And then what we'll do is take the list after we draw it and give it to Serenity. And Serenity will go through their process, starting with the first person on the wait list, and then they'll go to the second person and the third person. And it will be their job to do tenant selection. They'll probably need additional queries and sorries, a different application, more third-party documentation, maybe more pay stubs possibly, more proof of ability to pay. But once we're done with the lottery, it's all up to Serenity to do the tenant selection at that point. And then in the future, they will maintain that wait list. As new people want to apply, they will go onto the bottom of that wait list. Within the application, it talks about, you know, how can I be eligible or who's eligible. As we talked before, you have to have income and or assets that are within the guidelines set by HUD. So if you're under the income limits, but you have an ability to pay, you should still apply. So for example, the HUD limit, maximum income limits for a household of one in Barnstable County now is $54,450. So we want to make sure that you are under that limit in order to be eligible for the lottery. And that is based on gross income, all income from all sources, including income from assets. If you're a two-person household, the same applies, and the income should be less than $62,200. The minimum income is a suggested income that would allow you, and it appears that you would need to make at least that much or somewhere around there to have the ability to afford the rent. And that's how that is calculated. This doesn't apply if you are a voucher holder of any kind, if you have a Section 8 voucher or any other type of housing voucher, the minimum incomes don't apply at all. You cannot own a home and be eligible for the lottery. So if you own a home now, it would be, it has to be sold prior to moving in. And then we need to also kind of look at that in some way of the asset. If it was a $2 million house, there would be some income on that asset that we would want to consider in your income, but don't worry about that. Most of us don't have $2 million houses right now. Well, maybe we do with the market being the way it is. And you cannot have, any of the applicants cannot have a financial interest in the development. The interesting thing is only one resident needs to be over 55. So children are allowed to reside at Serenity if there is an occupant in the apartment that is over 55. I had a Facebook post today and someone said, oh, sure, no children, that's not fair. And it's like, nope, children are allowed there as long as one resident is over 55. Now here's where people get nervous and they say, oh, I need all this documents, but it's not that bad. You have it probably easily within reach. So we need to know that you have local preference. If you live in, work in, or have children in the Brewster school system, there'll be two lottery pools. One will be for a local preference, and then the other pool will be an open preference. So we'll take the lottery, we'll pull the local pool first, and we'll get to a certain number of percentage that Brewster has asked for to have a local preference. And then everybody from the local preference pool also goes into the open pool. So everybody is in the open pool. The local people may have two chances, but we never know how the numbers are going to be picked or where they will be picked. That will make more sense at the time of the lottery. But if you do live in, work in, or have children in Brewster schools, please indicate that on the application, and we do ask that question. The other thing is identification. We just need to check and make sure that we can check for the age to make sure that you are in fact over 55. If you have any type of disability verification form or Social Security, any of that type of information, we want to make sure that that is attached. So any income that you're getting, we want to make sure that we have documentation to back up that income. And it's important that you don't send like cell phone pictures. That's really hard. It doesn't work. We need you to scan it or make a copy. You can email it. There's a number of different ways to get us the information, but a lot of times people take a quick cell phone picture and it just doesn't work for our system to be able to have that. And we don't want any originals because we might not be able to get them back to you, and we don't want to be held responsible. So the good news is you need 5 most recent pay stubs if your pay is steady or without significant variation through the year. For example, on Cape Cod, some of us have seasonal pay and you're laid off for part of the time, or you collected unemployment for some of the time, or you might be self-employed. So for those reasons, we would need to know 12 months of income so that we could tell exactly what your income is if it starts and stops and is different every week. And then verification of any child support or alimony that you would be receiving, copies of divorce or child support documentation, verification of any other type of household income, Social Security, VA benefits, unemployment, any public assistance, official statements of monthly amount that's received for the year. 3 months of bank account statements, so checking accounts and savings accounts. And we would like you to try and identify cash deposits that are not easily verifiable when we look at them. Like we can tell if it's a paycheck or if it's your tax return. When you have $250 deposited every Friday, that it needs to be identified, because we might say, well, what is that? So, oh, I forgot I have a dog walking business, but I forgot to tell you that. So that's another source of income that you need to let us know. And that's why we look at the bank statements to look for deposits like that and see if there's any other income that, not that you would do it on purpose, but that you might forgot to have told us. So 3 months of checking, 3 months of savings from all bank accounts, and then identify cash deposits that we would say, what is this? I mean, one time it was $500 and it was a birthday. It was a birthday card, and whoever was looking at on the other end wanted documentation of that $500 birthday deposit. And we're not going to be that bad, but we just kind of want to, make sure that you're not having another job. And your most recent tax return, federal only, and a W-2 if you have one. No state taxes are required at all. The verification of assets, meaning this is something where people get confused or have questions on sometimes. We're looking for the net cash value of assets. So if you have a 401k or an IRA or retirement account, and you were to call up the person that manages that account and say to them, I need you to send me whatever I can get in my hand today, after interest, after penalties, after everything, what would you have left over in your hand? Because that's the net cash value of that. If you were to cash it out after everybody takes what they're supposed to take, what do you have left? That's a net cash value. And then we just are going to count the income on those assets. So in rentals, the assets is not really that big of a deal. We just, in case those big assets, excuse me, if you're self-employed, which a lot of people are in the Cape, we would need a copy of your Schedule C for the last 2 years, and also a notarized year-to-date profit and loss statement showing your current year-to-date profit and loss, and a 12-month profit and loss statement, and that should be notarized. So anything we can have to help us identify what your income really is. And on the Cape, we have lots of different, some people have 3 or 4 jobs. And so just help us to understand the big picture of all of the income that you are receiving. Because we want to make sure, as I said, that you have enough, but not too much. So we started the marketing on May 1st, and it goes for 60 days. The application deadline will be July 1st. So we want to make sure that we have all of your documentation in at that time. You can get it to us by dropping it off in Hyannis, email. You could fax it, scan it and fax it. Any other way that you want, lots of ways. And then once we receive all those, we're going to be looking at them on a rolling basis, but we will also be gathering and meeting after that July 1st to finalize everything and see who will be actually eligible to be included in the lottery. Once we have our list and we have all our paperwork from everyone, we will have a good spreadsheet and our database knowing who the eligible people are, how many people, if they're a 1-person household or a 2-person household, whether they have a local preference or not a local preference. And we will schedule a lottery. It could be any time in mid-June to the end of June, depending on how long it takes for us to go through all of the applications. It could even be a little later.
You
But
mean
we'll
mid to
know.
end of, sorry, you mean mid to end of July?
Yeah, mid to end of July.
I was like, I don't know that we can get that done by middle to end of June, so
Thank you.
don't rush
Um,
us.
So, and we we all sit together and check and make our files and look at everybody, make sure that we're set. Then we have the actual lottery. We will let you know when it is. It will be by Zoom. We'll send you an email. We'll send you your lottery number and you can watch. You're invited to watch. But it's important to know that that lottery meeting is not, that lottery drawing is not going to let us know who the winners are. And there's no units that will be awarded at that meeting. It's going to let us know where your number was pulled in, where you are on the list that Serenity will use. So the first person picks, second person picks, sometimes yeah, but we don't know that that's necessarily true. It's just the starting point that Serenity will use to begin their tenant selection process, which is different than the lottery. And they're going to meet with you and talk to you. The first person will get their choice of which type of unit that they want. There's a certain number of studios, a certain number of 1-bedrooms, and you can kind of, depending where you were picked, the first people picked will get first choice. So it is good to have your lucky number pulled near the beginning. And then I'm sure Serenity they have their own application and a third-party verification, and they'll have meetings and want to talk to you some more. The construction will be wrapping up, and I'm not sure on the timeline because those things are never perfect. August, probably, end of July, in August, hopefully the construction will be done. And Serenity will work with you to try and help people start moving in. Is that right, Stuart? Make sense to you?
That's right. The only thing I would say is I think the construction is earmarked to be completed more around the beginning of July, not August. It really comes down to when the final work is inspected by the town.
Okay.
And I think we're sort of believing that it'll be around maybe the last week of June through maybe somewhere the first week or 2 of July that the town will issue the certificate of occupancy. So I think that's the schedule we're on for finalizing construction.
Okay. And you guys will be doing, you are right now doing market rate pre-lease up as well?
Yes, we are. And we're telling those potential tenants about the same time frame. It is fluid because it depends upon the town's final inspections and us, being able to complete the project and get the CO done. But I think that's the time frame that'll work.
And there's 270 units total.
There's 132 units
Oh,
on this one.
132.
There we go.
27 affordables, 26.
Correct. Yes.
And you have people living in there now.
Yes, we opened up the first phase of the project with 41, and right now we have 41 occupied. The second phase of the project is the one that is opening this summer, and it's the newest, best, beautiful, brightest piece of the property. So that's going to be an enticing thing for everyone that's applying.
Great. Probably people have a lot of questions, and we'll be able to, you could put them in the chat box and we can try and get to some of them. If you want to know questions about the property, I would suggest getting in touch with Leland. Questions about, how do I move in? Is there an elevator? Where do we park? That type of questions about the actual building. And there's his phone number, and that number is also on the application and information packet. For questions about the actual property. In terms of helping to fill out your application, there's a bunch of us here at Housing Assistance Corporation that are willing to try and help you, walk through it with you, and try and make it easy for you. We want to try and help you to be eligible, and whatever we can do to help you, we are happy to do that, to work together. We have I see one chat question, but I don't know if there are more. Oh, the square footage of a studio or 1-bedroom apartments. I don't have the square footage written down here, but you could answer that, Stuart or Leland.
You can hear me. Right.
Square
So
footage.
Right. So the square footage is going to vary, but I'd say so for these particular set aside units. For a studio, it can range from 313 square feet up to, 462 for deluxe. But for regular, you're looking at roughly, they're about a 400 square feet, 408, it looks like at the most. And then for a 1-bedroom, it can range from, you're looking at 397 up to like 546 square feet. And then we do have 1 deluxe. The bedroom deluxe is going to be roughly 871 square feet. So they all vary.
That's a big one.
Leland, we have someone asking about the laundry facilities. Can you tell the group a little bit about it?
So our laundry facilities will be card operated, whereas though you input a debit card and the laundry card itself and place money onto it. So it wouldn't be like a coin op system. We'll have what I believe to be 2 laundry facilities per floor. Roughly, and actually, I'm sorry, still working on how many will be in there, I believe, but thinking 3 washers, 3 dryers, what I understand, but the thing is there will be 2 laundry facilities per floor, what I understand. And does that fully answer the question?
Yeah, I think that was good.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a few more questions rolling in. Are dogs allowed?
Yes, we do allow pets.
Okay.
Right, we do have a pet policy.
And we can get the pet policy out, which
Yes.
I don't know if it's in our info packet right now, but we can put that out. Snow removal.
Yes, we do have snow removal done on site, as well as our maintenance men who will, in all honesty, this building, we're coming up on a year mark, but so there will be snow removal as well as maintenance with walk around and salt, and I'd help as well if need be to salt the walkways and ensure, the night before a snowstorm as well as the day of a snowstorm and throughout, our New England, it would be tended to. There wouldn't be safety concerns of, if the parking garage hasn't been plowed or the walkways are slippery. So yes.
Perfect. And there is someone on that says, I'm handicapped in a wheelchair. Is there anything for me? Is there an elevator?
We do. We have an elevator. There's a ramp out front. We have an elevator. So it's wheelchair accessible, and yes, yeah. So there is an elevator.
Perfect. And then I understand, from my
I'm
understanding.
sorry. I'll put it this way. We have a couple of residents who live here now who are in wheelchairs, and they manage.
Great. And then there's a question about Wi-Fi and other utilities.
So the gas, I'm sorry. So utilities are included with the utility fee that typically is paid along with the rent, but it's included in the amounts that we're showing here. So yes, that includes gas, electric, water, sewage, waste disposal. So yeah, gas, electric. As far as like cable, you have to provide. You have to get your own cable, but the units come cable ready, as well as our. We have cable in our community center rooms as well, where we have television for movie nights and so forth.
Okay. Gail, this question might be good for you. Any units set aside for very low income persons like Section 8?
Well, everyone is welcome to apply. There aren't specific units set aside, but you certainly can apply just like you would apply to any other property for rent. You would just, provide your Section 8 certificate, and absolutely, that would be welcome and allowed.
Let me jump in and also just answer that. It is part of our entire business practice around the United States to accept tenants that are vouchered, tenants that are very low income. We believe in affordable housing in respect to everyone who deserves a home. And so whatever your income level is, the only thing that counts here is don't exceed the maximum ceiling allowed. All of the rest of the income, as long as you can either afford the rent out of your own resources, or you have vouchers and housing assistance, HUD assistance, or what have you, you are more than welcome. That's our mission. That's our purpose.
Perfect. Thank you, Stuart. Is there any additional storage for each unit outside of the actual unit?
At this time, no. No additional storage outside of the units. We'll share that information if it turns out that that's something we can provide, but not at this moment.
Okay. So there's somebody on that says that they sold their home in 2012. They were living on Cape Cod for about 17 years. Are they eligible for the lottery? They do meet the income guidelines and are 62. So their age and all that.
Certainly seems like they would. We'd have to look at their application or call with questions, but yes, I would say sounds like they would be perfect.
Great. What is the market rent for these units?
So the market rent, it goes back to by square feet, so it varies. But okay, so I'll give it, the way I just did for the affordable units. So say for instance, like a 1-bedroom studio can go from 313 square feet up to 447 square feet. So on the higher side, 447 square feet, the rent would be $1,784 with $152 utility fee. So the total would come to $1,935 for that studio. And for 1-bedroom, it can range from 400 square feet up to roughly around 6 or so. And let's say at 600, let's say 600 square feet, the rent for that would be $2,190 with the utility fee of $204. So you're looking at $2,394 a month.
Okay. Do the windows open in the units?
Yes.
Great.
Some good questions.
Nice breeze, yeah. Is there any access to Sheep's Pond or any of the nearby ponds?
Yes, actually, yes. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry. Give me one moment. you know, okay, fishermen, yeah, and forgive me, I'm new to the area myself, I'm still learning the surrounding environment.
That's
But
okay.
fishermen landing public pond for boating, boat launching and fishing. And also nearby is Long Pond and Pleasant
Mhm.
Lake.
Yep.
Yeah,
Those are the
I would
ones I know of
just,
so far.
I'll just add in that you can actually walk from the bike trail down to Sheep's Pond, so.
Good to know.
All
The
right. So
bike
let's-
trail is right there in the back.
Yep.
Right, directly behind the building, yes.
Okay, so what percentage of the 27 will be for non-local?
It's,
Uh,
Because there is
Can you
another
take
person that
this,
asked
Gail?
if, oh, I'm sorry.
okay,
Yeah, so the local preference is 50% of the unit. So I kind of see in the chat screen here, people think if they don't live in Brewster, they don't have a chance, but that's not actually true. It's a 50-50 split for these units.
and the local preference is only at the time of the initial lottery. So the waiting list that is going to be existing on the property going forward is not going to be anyone with a local preference. It's going to be everybody, whether they're local or not. So there's only one chance in the very beginning where the town has an opportunity to ask for local preference, but then it goes away. So
That's good to know. The last question that we have on here right now is wondering if there is a model unit available for viewing.
No, at this time, we're still an active construction site, so you need a hard hat to even be over there. So we don't have a model unit at this point. We hope to within the next week or two. And when we do, we'll let you guys know. We'll make it public. I'll add it to the, to the postings I do every day, even though those aren't particularly for the lottery, but the information will be there. So people who are checking for activity within the community, it will reflect there. And we'll get the word out once we're ready to go. Have something to show.
Perfect. This is another one for Gail. If income is above the limit, but a person is disabled, can they still qualify?
I don't know of a disability preference that would alleviate the guidelines or that would differ from the guidelines. There really isn't a set aside. The guidelines are pretty strict on that maximum income. It doesn't really have any other information with that but if or in case of, it's just pretty much straightforward. So that I've never been asked that question before, but this project does not have units that were set aside with a particular disability preference. If someone had a disability and they were under the income limit and they needed some sort of a reasonable accommodation, that's all fine, and the development would work with them on that. But in terms of the income limits, I'm guessing no, that if you're over income, you would be over income.
And don't hesitate to reach out to Gail. Her email address is on the page right there, and she can hop on the phone with you and kind of go over any more specific details.
Yeah.
There is a question, which is a great question I wouldn't have thought to ask. Is there a generator on site for the property?
Yes.
Broad storms.
Yes, we do have a generator. It was just utilized the other night when there was a transformer that was blown out here on the street.
Mhm.
It knocked our power out, and our generators kicked in for common areas, elevators.
Right.
So generators cover common areas of elevators. And we have a red, refer to this red. It's escaping me in a moment, but so that you have access to electricity in your units, like linked to the generator through one socket though, so you have access to some electricity, so you can have something functional, like plug in your fridge, an electrical outlet that have multiple things going, so that you have some source of electricity in the unit as well as the common areas.
Nice. So we have another question for Gail, and again, this might be one that will be helpful for you to hop on the phone with them. But they share custody right now with their grandsons who live in Brewster, and they currently live in Eastham. Would that qualify for local, and or how do they document that?
Depending on how their custody arrangement is written, if they have legal custody, and they have children that are going to school in the Brewster school system and they're the legal guardian and they have custody, I would say probably, I would think yes, that they would have local preference, but I'd have to see the documentation, and we would want to know when she's saying, how do I document that? I would think with any legal custody information on that.
Mhm. Perfect. Are there any floor plans available to look at that we could send out?
We don't have any to send out on site. Yeah, so we don't have active floor plans right at this moment to provide. It will be more so once the units start coming on, we're not so much online, but once they're fully completed and we start taking photos, we'd post those.
And you guys are
Yeah.
pretty active on your Facebook page, right?
Yes, we are. You can, well, so if you check out like our Facebook, you see photographs and everything, but not so much fully of the finished product yet.
Right.
That'll be in the next week or so.
So our next question that came in is, what is the asset limits or for 401k or stocks? How do those affect the income limits?
There really isn't an asset limit, but we would want to consider any income that is earned on assets, and we would consider that as income. So when you would let us know when you fill out your paperwork and give us the documents, you'll let us know what the income is from your assets. And it could put you over the income if you're very close, but the actual income usually doesn't. The income on the asset usually doesn't put people over the limit, but there's no actual asset limit.
Perfect. Thanks, Gail.
Other tenants that will jump the line for a larger unit. I'm not even sure how to.
Let me answer that one. Let me answer that one. The lottery and the leasing of the rest of the market rate units are being done for the people that are not currently living there. There are 41 units being tenanted right now. There are 27 of the phase 2 units that are set aside specifically right now for the affordable lottery participants. No one can jump into those. Someone in phase 1 can move from a market rate to another market rate if they want to go from a studio to a 1-bedroom. We certainly welcome that. But of the 27 units that we're starting out with, those units can't be jumped by anybody. Those are for you, the lottery applicants only. We've chosen a mix of all of our units. And I'll say one other thing so that everyone hears this. The arrangement with the state and with the town is for these units to be floating units. So there's not designated units that these are only affordable units and affordable people will only get these units. Just for the purpose of the lottery, we designated 27 units. In the future, as we go through the wait list and people move in and out of the property, any unit that's available can be taken by an affordable tenant so long as it's within 27 total. And there's not going to be any sort of segregation of affordable over here, non-affordable over there. The whole property is open to affordable tenants. We just have to start this way in the lottery.
All right, and then the last question we have is, what is the Facebook page? I can't hop off to copy the link as I'm currently recording the screen, but if someone could pop that in there.
Yeah.
Someone's got their hand raised.
I'm putting it in now.
Thank you, Leland. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Like this.
Very good. And we have a raised hand.
Okay, sorry, I can't see it with my thing up here.
If you're raising your hand, if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question. Joan? Maybe she didn't mean to.
There was a question in here from Joan, so I may have covered that. If there are any other questions, please let us know. We have about 8 minutes left. Oh, we got one. Okay. Thanks, Brenda. How many of the units have outdoor space?
Kind of rough to say at this time. I actually don't have the answer open. Yeah, the patio area, because, you know, everything's internal right now, like outside wise construction. Yeah, so I don't know right now. If I can find out, and whoever this question is from, if you'd like to give me a call, I'll have the answer. I'll get the answer for you. But,
Perfect.
And there is a common outdoor space area as well, correct? In the back?
yes, there'll be a courtyard area. There are multiple common area spaces within the facility. There'll be a courtyard within the community, but there'll be a courtyard area as well. And outdoor gazebo, outdoor patio sitting area for the residents. So yes, there will be those.
Someone had asked for a copy where they could get a copy of the pet policy.
Let's see. Okay, so when they visit the site, or they can reach out to.
Sure. And everyone can see Leland's email up there and his phone number. And that info is on our application and info packet if you need that as well to get in touch with him. So another question that came in, so speaking of the outside grounds, what are the grounds for handicap like outside? Are they accessible?
Oh, yes, it is accessible for handicap because it's pretty much just open surroundings. It is accessible.
Perfect.
Let me help out there just a little bit. So we have wheelchair accessible ramps to enter into the building itself. And then the building is sort of quadrangle around a very large courtyard, a landscaped inside courtyard. And that is accessible, wheelchair and handicapped walker and what have you, scooter, for people to go into the courtyard, the gazebo, the trees, the landscaping. The outdoor space is really sort of confronted or put basically in the middle of the building, so to speak. The outside of the building is predominantly parking for the building, as I recall it. And the inside is sort of the cocoon. It's all the landscaping stuff. But past the outside parking, you have all the hills, the trees, you have the wetlands, you have the bike trail, you have all of nature that is the best of Brewster surrounding the outside once you're past the parking spaces. And then you have your own cocoon inside the quadrangle or the courtyard where you can be with your neighbors and you can have lunches and just hang out and chill. And all of it is accessible.
Perfect. Thank you, Stuart. Is there a parking space included with each apartment?
We don't designate parking spaces. There should be ample parking. A lot of, most of our residents don't have cars.
We have sufficient parking
Right.
for the residents, and we were working with the town to actually, and they've approved this, I'm very thankful, putting in a bus stop for regional bus service close to the property. So there's going to be transportation, both private parking and public transportation available.
Perfect. Someone asked if you can grow vegetables and flowers.
We don't currently have, I guess, they mean like the pottery bags, like the plant bags, or like actual plots.
Maybe like an outdoor garden type
So
area.
we're in discussion of pottery bags, perhaps, but as far as like plots, so we don't have any designated space for that right now. With being under construction, yeah, there are things like that we still have to. So pretty much things like that will come into play once we're up and running and start filling the units. And we'll sort that out once we see what space we have to work with following everything else that has to get done.
Gotcha.
But we are in talks of pottery bags.
There's
since they're-
probably great community gardens, and is there, Donna, some community gardens in Brewster too?
There are some community gardens in Brewster. So that is an option. There is a wait list for it. It's quite popular. But there are community gardens.
Perfect. And then another question was, are smoking areas separate from these outdoor courtyards? Are the outdoor courtyards smoke-free?
That would actually, we'll make sure we work it out with this new phase of, some distance between the two, but that'll be another thing that once we're up and running, we have a better idea of what we're looking at. And we have to get that, back accordingly on the space.
Let me step in here a little bit. All of our properties are non-smoking inside the property, inside the building. We are moving, and I want to be very transparent to any applicants. We are moving to a no smoking on property house rule across all of our properties. It creates issues of fire hazards and what have you. It creates issues of secondhand smoke. And so this property will, when it opens up, become a no smoking on property house rule. So for everyone that is affected by that, I want to be very obvious and upfront.
I think that's a great rule. Yeah.
Okay.
So Joan asked if she missed what the affordable rents are. Can you share the affordable rents with us? They are in our application and info packet as well.
I have them here.
Yep.
The studios are, there's 15 studios, and those are $1,261 a month. There are 2 studio deluxe, those are $1,311. There are 9 one-bedrooms, those are $1,336, and a 1-bedroom deluxe is $1,361.
Gail, does that include the utilities? I just want to make sure we're being completely clear with
Yes.
people. Okay.
Yes, that includes utilities. Yep.
All right. Do we have any other questions before we wrap up? We have about a minute left. We just want to make sure we're staying on people's time. All right. I think that might be it. So this recording, we'll put it up on our website where you can also find the information packet. You can find the application to download or to fill out online. It's a very easy system. You just kind of plug in all your info, you upload your documents, and then we can start tracking everything there. So please reach out to Gail or to Leland if you have questions. And we wish everyone good luck because this is sounds like a great facility. So
If you have any friends or family that are interested too, they weren't able to make the meeting, this meeting will be posted on our website. So people that are applying or thinking about applying can go and watch after this meeting and get more information, and you can watch it again.
perfect. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everyone, and look forward to meeting you all. Please come in.
Good luck, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.